recording. Okay, I think I got it. All right. I wouldn't go up there if I were you. Here comes the show, everybody. It's time. And boy, oh boy, is this the place.
Boy, is it.
Truly, truly is. Okay. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Counting it down in 3, 2, 1.
You are all nothing!
This is the morning stream. No touching of butts allowed. No butt touching.
Hello, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to the morning stream for Monday, September 30th, last day of the month, 2019. I'm Scott Johnson. He's Brian Ibbett. Hello.
I am. Had to blow my nose. Off camera. I step away from the camera to blow my nose, like Tay Zonde and his breathing.
Are you like me? Do you get stuffy this time of year as it starts to cool off? Yeah, I do too. I hate it. It makes it so like I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and realize I've been breathing through my mouth for the last 10 hours. You know, just going...
Sore throat, hacking,
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like that.
Not a fan. But I do like the changing of the times. Last night, we had all the windows open. We've been doing that for about a week now. And no air conditioning, no heating, just letting the outside air be the inside air. Nice and cool. It's been like 70 degrees, perfect all the time. But not last night. Mm-hmm. It's like 35, and it was cold.
Oh, jeez.
And I did not want to get my sorry arse out of bed this morning because it was so freaking cold that I just didn't want to do it. But I did it.
Covers pulled up all the way, and you're...
Mm-hmm. I was all cozy, Brian. I had a weighted blanket.
Oh, nice. I still have to try those. I'm wondering how I would do with those because I have a little bit of claustrophobia, but only like the biggest claustrophobic thing for me is that scene in Die Hard where John McClane is going through the air vents. Come to California, we'll have a few laughs. That scene. If I'm in a place where I don't have the ability to turn myself around, I feel like that's the claustrophobic point for me.
What if... Okay, let me give you a scenario.
Okay. I love it. I love this. All right.
So you're in a... This is funny you bring this up because I've been replaying a bit of that old Batman game from 2015, the Arkham Knight game, and there are times where you're in an air vent, right?
Barely have time. Oh yeah, there are. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Barely have time to play games that I haven't played yet, and you're replaying games. What's the matter with this picture?
The reason it happened, it's actually it makes sense once you hear it. But they had those 6 games for free on Epic, and it was all the Batman games, so you could get Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and 3 Lego Batman games, all just for nothing. And so I just thought, let's throw one of these on.
Those games are fantastic.
Oh, they're so good. They're so freaking good. And I realized why I like the third one the best. I know a lot of people think the first one's the best, but I like the third one because it's I was saying this on Core last night. It's basically Batman Fury Road because there's like a car first of all, but second of all, the city's evacuated and super wastelandy. So nobody's in Gotham except for criminal elements who are like a bunch of crazy guys with no hair on top of cars with guns. It's very Mad Maxy. I think that's why I like it.
Who had the 13 minutes before a Mad Max mention?
I mean,
who had that?
I'm on a roll because I think the last 4 podcasts I've recorded, including Film Sack, have all had had a reference in it. But anyway, so what was I going to say? Because those are free, and I just thought I'd give it a spin. I've hardly spent any time in there yet, but it just reminded me how cool those games are. They're very good. Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying before that? There was a thing I was going to say.
Well, you were talking about you were playing Batman. You were
I don't know what I had to do. It was something with the cold weather. I don't know.
Shoot.
I don't know
Sorry, got you on a tangent or something, man.
Because I said something about shit. What was it? I don't remember. Chat room, if you don't remember, we don't remember. So forget it. You're our memory. You're our collective memory.
I'm scrolling back to see if they're talking about this.
claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia.
Okay. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm in a vent as Batman. That's
Thank
what it
you,
was.
Anna Krakatoa.
Yes, thank you. I'm in a vent, and I'm the Batman in the vent, right? Looking for the Joker and the whatnot in there. And
And the whatnot.
there was a time where I got to a dead end. Now, what ended up happening is the grate below me fell out, or they shot it up or something, and I fell out. But I ended up falling out of the vent. But in a real life scenario, if you were in a vent and you came to a dead end, and you were too bulky to turn around, what would be what's your reaction? Do you panic?
Could we maybe say, instead of it being that I'm too bulky to turn around, could we just say that maybe, the vent is too narrow for me to turn around?
The vent is too narrow, or you're wearing, like, the reason I said bulky is because Batman's got all this gear on, right? So let's say you have a bunch of gear on. Brian's trying to escape the zombies or whatever. And now you're stuck. Do you back up slowly? Do you try to turn around?
Totally.
Do you
That's all you
freak out?
can do, right?
Okay. All right. But
You have to
wouldn't
back up.
But you wouldn't panic, right? You just sort of make it work.
But there'd be some discomfort. There'd be like, oh my God, really?
Right.
Like, I've got to back up, because the backing up, it's like, the fear, that's probably where the fear comes from. The backing up fear is that I'll back up and all of a sudden I'll be in another dead end and I'm kind of just trapped in there.
Good point. All right, let me ask you this. If you were Andy Dufresne, would you still be in prison? Would you still be in prison, or would you have escaped? If you knew you had a mile of tiny sewage pipe to get through.
Yeah.
Would you stay in prison, or would you risk it?
No, I'd escape. I'd definitely escape.
All right.
I would totally be. I'd be out of Shawshank. I think I could deal with it for that little amount of time that he had to. I mean, in a little amount of time. We know from the movie, it's a mile of shit.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's been measured, it's been calculated. It is a mile of shit.
Yeah, and if you come out clean on the other side, it's because it's raining. That's the only way you get the clean part. Okay, let me ask you this.
By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
Did you see that in our tadpole? So I believe it's Carrie File. It was in the Facebook page, but the guy who introduced Morgan Freeman to TMS posted a photo of Morgan Freeman holding up some of his barbecue sauce, because he was inspired by the tadpole to go after his dream, which is creating his own barbecue sauce business, and he's got a photo of Morgan Freeman holding the barbecue sauce.
Right. That was what's his name? This is actually, he did this a while ago, right? This wasn't a new thing, or was it new?
Right. He got Morgan Freeman to listen to our show a while ago, but I think he just created his business.
Right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a prescient thing you brought up, because Morgan Freeman also just converted his 50 hectare ranch. I don't even know what a hectare is, by the way. It's not an acre. It's something else. What's a hectare? Hold on.
You mean acre?
No, it's
hectare.
Let's see. 50 hectares.
It's tight.
In acres. Let's see. It is 123 acres. Yeah. 123.5 acres for 50 hectares. Hectare? Maybe it's hectare. Anyway, whatever. He's got a ranch that's that big, 50 hectares, which is, again, I think about 123 acres.
Looks like it's just pronounced Hector.
Okay, so he's got a lot of guys named Hector working his farm.
That's right.
Anyway, so he's converted the whole thing to be a bee sanctuary. He's trying to help the bees.
Oh, right. Okay, and that's related because he's getting, and I think, like I said, I think it is Carrie File. Somebody needs to help me in the chat room and let me know for sure. I think it's Carrie File. Is getting honey from Morgan Freeman to use in some of his barbecue sauce or something.
If you'd like to have some honey, come on by the Hector farm.
Like, this is like two old people trying to remember a TV show from the 50s. I think there was a guy and his name was Larry or Hector or Bob.
Yep.
And
Something like
got
that.
Honey.
It's pretty cool, though, because that ranch he could use for all sorts of stuff, but he's decided to make it for bees. And then the fact that we have this weird connection of somebody who's going to get honey from his ranch, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really
so that
cool.
makes it an apiary, is that right?
It does, I guess, right?
Yes. An apiary is a bee.
I wish it was apes.
Bee farm?
Like a bunch of apes.
Right. It feels like it should be. Apiary.
Yeah.
But
chimpanzees and freaking gorillas and stuff.
Right.
That would be cool. Someone in the reverse Katamari, or his name is in the chat, says he's the Candyman. Don't say his name 3 times or else bees will come out of his mouth.
Oh, that's once.
Oh, I did it, didn't I? I said Candyman. Oh, it's twice.
That's twice. Oh, don't do it again.
I'm not going to do it. I sure could go for some candy, man.
I think it's 5 times in Candyman, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is 3 times, Candyman is 5 times.
They're remaking that, which I am all for, by the way.
Yeah, but they're not. What's his face is not involved.
Tony Todd?
Tony Todd is not going to be part of it, which is kind of a bummer.
He's also what, like 80? Let's see. Let me look.
Yeah, I don't think he's 80.
Oh, this is Jordan Peele's doing this. Now I'm
Yeah.
extra excited. Confirmed.
Yeah, Tony Todd is 64.
Okay. Maybe he'll
You could still play Candyman at 64.
Right. But do you really want bees in your mouth? They could CGI these bees now.
When I get older, bees in my mouth. When I'm 64, do.
Oh, it says.
Will you still be saying my name 5 times? Turn off the lights and I'm gonna hook you with my hook.
There you go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Sure.
We have the star. It is hold on. What's his name? The Get Out of Atlanta or Atlanta star will, but it's not. What's his name? It's not Gambino. Let's see. What's his name? Oh, Fraser Harrison.
Glover?
Fraser
Glover?
Harrison. It's not Donald Glover.
Oh, okay.
It's somebody on that show with him. Fraser Harrison.
Oh, gotcha. Fraser Harrison. Okay.
I don't know who he is, but he looks very 70s retro. That dude. He's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
It says, let's see, the Get Out.
No, Fraser Harrison is.
Oh, he was also in Get Out. It says. I still haven't seen Get Out, so I don't know.
Oh, really? You have to see Get Out.
Yeah, no, I still haven't seen.
I think I'm looking at the wrong person because the Fraser Harrison that I pulled up is a woman. I don't think that's
That's
the
not
same
him.
Fraser Harrison.
No,
Yeah.
no, unless there's been some sort of transition, and if they did, that's fine. It's fine.
Hey, and nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Anyway, this the Get Out and Atlanta star will portray Anthony, a socially pronounced artist in Chicago who researches the urban legend of Candyman. After investigating the killer's last known whereabouts, strange killings begin to occur. So maybe he's not Candyman, but he's in Candyman.
Well, I was gonna say, an IMDb
yeah.
for Candyman 2020 lists Tony Todd as Candyman.
Oh.
So maybe the news of his non-involvement has been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. Or maybe some film sack chucklehead went in there and put it in there. Who knows? Because we've been able to do that lately. Arnold Schwarzenegger tried out for the role of Candyman.
Right, exactly. 5 of 5 people found this interesting.
Oh, my Lord. All right, let's talk about... Oh, I got a quick story to tell you, and then I want to hear about It Chapter 2, speaking of movies, which you went and saw.
Sure.
Brian sacrificed 3 hours of his life on a weekend to check that out. So I had this horrible insurance experience, and I know insurance is always a pain, and that's, it's almost to be expected that, at least here in the States, when it comes to insurance, it just sucks, especially medical. In this case, it's a life insurance thing. So we had an old life insurance policy, just to give you some background, that was kind of aging out and not great, and we figured out a way to go to a new one that would actually be better in the long run. So like you do sometimes, you change insurance. The goal is try to have them overlap barely, so you're never without it. So that if between the day between the two signings, I don't get in a car accident and die without
It's like a
life
trapeze.
insurance. Yes.
You want to make sure that you've got one hand on the old trapeze or the new trapeze as you're letting go of the old trapeze.
100% that. So we were wanting to make sure that was the case, and we worked really hard to make sure that was the case, and we timed everything. We did everything we were supposed to do. We always do. That's why we have like a 850 or 890 credit score. We have the highest credit scores. So we're really careful about all that stuff, to the point that we're almost kind of too careful. But anyway, so lady comes to the house to do the blood test. This is a couple of weeks ago. And I remember I talked about it on the show, I think, a little bit, because we gave her our snake.
Because she showed up while we were doing the show, didn't she?
Oh, right. Was that or was that a different thing? I don't remember.
Maybe
now.
it was a different thing.
But she showed up. Oh no, she was here. But when the show ended, I could go. She's hung around. That's what it was. You're right.
That's right.
So I went up there. She ended up with our snake. It's a long story. She has our snake now.
Oh, right. All this is coming together. That's right. Yeah, I remember that too.
It's all connecting now. But anyway, she was this kind of big lady. Not that it has anything to do with this, except there's a little irony there, okay? Because she was really big. She was like probably 350 or something. And she was nice and everything. And she, had me go pee in a little vial and then come back, and then we did the blood test and we did the stuff. Everything should have been fine. Kim's went to underwriting and passed flying colors for the policy we wanted. Boom, bam, bip, done, no problem. Mine raises giant alarm. And they're like, what's the matter? Okay. His blood tests show that if he is not already a raging diabetic, he is a borderline diabetic, meaning my feet should be numb. I should be talking about amputation at this point, like that bad. That's how high they said I was. And I'm standing there going, what? I'm fine. And I'm not, I'm not at any of these risk factors. I don't have any genetics that are leading that direction. And I definitely am not like, there's no way it's that high. I just had blood tests in my doctor's office. They're not. So I called them. I said, hey, did you ever see high blood pressure or blood sugar on any of this? And they're like, no. In fact, you're below average. Okay, well, let's see if we can figure this out. So I couldn't remember if she told us to fast before, and if we did. I just don't remember. But Kim passed with flying colors. I'm showing like totally in the red. So they have to, the whole thing gets tabled. My policy is not being covered. The old one's gone, and I have no policy going on, and the other one's being, is put in this like penalty box for a minute.
Right.
And I said,
pattern or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm like, what do you guys want from me? And they said, well, your doctor, have your doctor do this or whatever. So we called the doctor.
Like do another physical or something?
Just a blood test, just a single blood test, all I needed.
Okay, good.
To confirm it or to show there was an error. So that's where I was Friday, and the reason I wasn't here. It was the only time I could get in there to A, talk to the doctor real quick, and B, get the right labs and then get out of there. But here's the funny bit. It's so stupid. I get down there, and they say, we show you're getting a full workup for a blood thickening test. And I said, what? This is the doctor, or not doctor, but the nurse, physician's assistant lady. She goes, yeah, you're getting like a full, I forgot the name. It was like a 3-letter acronym, but it meant that I have thinning blood and they're trying to work on that. And I said, I definitely don't have that. She goes, well, I show you're taking this medication to thin blood. I said, no, I'm not taking any medication right now. No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whoops, there's a whole other Scott Johnson.
Honestly, I think that may be what's behind all this. Every time I have to do anything paperwork official, some other Scott Johnson comes out of the woodwork and ends up getting crossed with my records. And it happens all the time. It happens when I apply for anything, and someone will say, are you Scott Johnson? Yes. Did you have an El Camino in 1978? And did you rob the 7-Eleven that year? And I'm like, no, I didn't do any of these things. What are you talking about? So all of that's going down. And then they finally go, oh, okay, I see. You just need a glucose test. I'm like, is that what a blood sugar test is? She goes, yes. I go, then I need one of those. She goes, oh, okay, well, we can just do that with a finger prick. I'm like, sweet. It's not the only prick around. I was really mad, right?
Yeah.
So they come and they do the finger prick, and I bleed into the unit, and it goes beep, beep, and she reads it, and she says, oh. And I go, don't just say, oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Don't do that. Say what it is. Let's not go, ooh.
Wow. Looks like your blood is 24% Oreo double stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing about all of this is I kind of intrinsically knew this was a mistake. But there was still a part of me that was like, well, if this is true, someone needs to say something. Like, how are you all bonking your heads? Nobody knows that I have high blood sugar all this time, and no one knows.
Right.
Like it was really bugging me. It was making me feel very uncomfortable. Anyway, she finally gets the test. She goes, oh no, this is great. I said, well, what does great mean? She goes, well, the average is like 100 to 110. You're like 89. That's perfect. We'd want everyone right there. And I'm like, damn it. Then what did Jill the snake lady do that day? What did she do? Did she drop half of her freaking Krispy Kreme in my pee when she walked out of here?
Exactly.
I was so annoyed, dude. Anyway, I think it's all done now. They get the paperwork today showing they had to give me new papers and say, all right, give this to them. So the underwriters will get that. The question is, do I still get the policy I wanted? Are they still going to be cagey about it? Like, what a runaround. I hated it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then, you know what I did as soon as it was done? I went, oh, I don't have high blood sugar? Off to Five Guys. Like, I went and just chowed down.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was
I'll show you.
It was an act of defiance. I was like, I'm going to get a big giant burger. I'm going to get a big Coke. I'm going to have a good time today because you guys jacked that up. So that's how that went down. Anyway, Everything's fine now. It's all fine. But we'll see if I don't get my policy or not. All right, forget about all that. I want to hear
that's
about.
frustrating.
I want to hear about clowns that live in the sewer. Yeah, that's the one.
We all float down here. So, Gina and I went and saw It Chapter 2 over the weekend. Finally had a chance to go see that. Although, I guess we had a chance when we went to the drive-in. We could have seen it there, but that is not a good drive-in movie.
No.
Not
for 3 hours.
Not for 3 hours. No, right? Because you're in a car is not comfortable for 3 hours, even if you're driving, if you're doing, no matter what you're doing. Really, really liked the first one. Really enjoyed it. I thought those kids were great. The actors, the one kid from Stranger Things is really good. The smart alecky kid who was on that show with Bobby Moynihan. It was a sitcom for a while where he played the young Bobby Moynihan. That kid's really good. I mean, it's a really good cast. The new cast, it's all the same characters, but this time adults, and Bill Hader is one of them, and Jessica Chastain is in there.
Is Bill Hader the guy from the Stranger Things kid when he gets older?
Yeah, Bill Hader is older Stranger Things kid.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, basically, they do that thing where they figure when you're a kid and then you're a grown up, your hairstyle doesn't change.
Right.
If you have glasses, you'll definitely still have glasses, but if you don't have glasses, you won't have glasses as an adult.
Yeah.
Whatever the color of your hair is, whatever the style is, that will unchange.
Sure.
That will be unchanged.
Right.
Great cast, and they did a great job of casting, finding people that looked like older versions of all of the kids.
I like that Jessica Chastain. I like her.
She's good. Yeah. And she was really good in this. And she's, her little naked grandma, the thing that you see in the previews, just as creepy on the big screen.
Yeah.
There's a whole middle section of the film that I feel is longer than it needs to be. And it without giving any spoilers, basically, the adults kind of split up and they each encounter a different thing pertaining to Pennywise.
Okay.
That bit is really good, but there's a lot of like this flashbacky kind of setup of like, oh, here's how they were as a kid and the things that scared them, and now here's how they are as an adult, and oh no, there's Pennywise, and now he's tormenting them the same way he tormented them, them when they were kids. And that part, those each individual little vignettes probably could have been half as long.
Did they feel consistent with the book? I don't know how long it's been for you for.
I never read the book.
Oh, you never read the book? Okay.
Yeah, it is one of the Stephen King books I haven't read, and I feel like I want to because
it's so good.
It seems like it is, and it's one of the most, The Stand and It are two of the most revered of the Stephen King books, I think.
Plus when you think of Stephen King and the moment where you were like, that's a name that we'll never not know ever again, it feels like that big fat book at a Walden's in the mall is like the symbol of when things turned to forever be in his favor. You know what I mean? Like there was like from then on you were just like that giant fat tome that just has IT written on it is a sign that he's,
and it's not an IT manual.
Yeah. It's a very good book. It's extremely awesome. And I love this as well.
Because I haven't read the book, I don't know how close the movie follows the book. But one of the things that really irritates me in movies and in books and stories like this is when people are dealing with something that they've never experienced before. This is something, I have no idea what this thing is that we're fighting. But all of a sudden, they know the one way that they have, what the thing that they have to do to defeat it.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do this thing to beat this adversary that we've never met before or experienced or ever seen anything like before, but we know that this is the one way to do it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff bothers me. I mean, they have to have a little bit of explanation of, all right, how did they figure this out, and how did all of them know at the same time that this is what they needed to do?
Yeah. And I mean, if you had to call do you take the whole thing as a 5-hour thing, or do you think that these are separate and can be enjoyed separately?
I feel like you have to take the whole thing as a 5-hour, like as one unit. Like Kill Bill, I think of as one movie, even though it's two movies, right? You think of it as a really long split feature.
Yeah. That's a
more
good point.
so than stuff like Raiders of the Lost Ark or Star Wars films or anything like that. Those are all little self-contained stories, but Kill Bill is one long story that has a definable split.
I agree. A good time to get up and take a pee is all that is. Is that because it's a great little break?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta take a couple pees during chapter 2. Before seeing chapter 2, I would have given it just a solid B, maybe even a B plus. Part 2 kind of moves it into a B minus, maybe even C plus.
Oh, that's too
territory
bad
for me. Yeah,
that's a bummer.
it's okay. It's worth seeing if you really enjoyed the first one, because it wraps everything up. So you want that to happen in a movie, but I don't feel like you need to run out and see this one in theaters. You can wait till this one comes out on streaming.
All right. You've convinced me that I'm going to
and Alex
wait.
Albisu nails it. Bill Hader is excellent in this. He's fantastic.
Okay.
I mean, I think all the adults in this film. It's really, really good casting. Someone does make a cameo, as you would expect them to make a cameo.
Yeah.
Boy, who could I be talking about?
Gosh, I wonder. Does he arrive on the scene in his truck and say, "What the heck happened here?
What the hell's going on here?"
All right. Well, it's nice to hear that he's got the time to poke into his own film.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. We're living, like we were talking about in Film Psych right now, or the other day, we're living in this weird Stephen King golden age where this stuff is getting truly good treatment, even if this is not the best ending or whatever.
It's getting treatment that respects the source material more than the 80s and 90s films.
Yeah.
However, for every good one, there's a Pet Cemetery, and that one got. I don't know what the reviews ended up being for Pet Cemetery. I just remember they weren't good enough to entice me to go see the new Pet Cemetery.
Sure. Joker's getting good early reviews, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I want to see that. I'm a little nervous about it.
What's Ad Astra? 83%. All right, Ad Astra is the next one we're seeing in the theater. That's one I feel like we have to see.
Yeah,
it's in the theaters.
Your highest rated in theaters currently 88% for Hustlers, Ad Astra at 83, 80 for Abominable, Good Boys, and 84 for Downton Abbey. It's a good time to see movies. There's nothing. There's no bummers in there except for that Rambo movie's got horrific reviews, but.
Wow, 27%.
Yeah,
Jeez.
audience score is strong, but I don't know. I feel like if that had better critical buzz, it might be doing a little bit better. It's currently at number 6 or 7. So anyway, well, there you have it. We've given you all you need for your Monday morning movie needs.
I do like looking at the television scores on Rotten Tomatoes too. So we know that, all right, Fleabag, critically acclaimed, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, that thing that won a couple Emmys, doing really well.
Sure.
Unbelievable up there, 97%.
So
A Very Brady Renovation clocking in at an 80% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Really?
Yes.
People like that.
People really like that, and it's getting a decent. Oh, that's because it's on tonight. Okay, that's why it's new TV tonight.
Okay, but still, that's a high score for a thing I thought
That's
would be
a really high score.
abject garbage, but apparently not. All
And
right.
the new American Horror Story, the 1984 American Horror Story, and that might be. I think I said this about the last one when it was getting good reviews, but that might be a return to American Horror Story for us.
A jumping on point, as they say.
Yes, I do like the fact you can jump on in any season, and
Well, I like this as well. Welcome to the Battle Royale portion of the show, starring the one, the only, the great, the wonderful Brian Dunaway. Hello, Brian Dunaway.
Oh, hi, Scott and Brian.
Oh,
so many superlatives.
I know.
I feel superlative.
You should.
Well deserved superlatives. For
Well
Brian.
deserved indeed. Hey, it's fantastic to have you here, as it always is, for Battle Royale. I hope you had a good weekend. Everything go okay for you?
I did have a good weekend. I had a great film sack, hung out with my buddies for a while.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I started feeling a little bit better after being sick for about a week.
Oh, yeah, you do sound a lot better.
I forgot that you were.
Oh, I didn't forget, though. Correct me.
You had a rough one, but you do sound a lot better. That's good. Well done.
Oh, yeah, I feel much better.
May you continue to convalesce as I find out who's on the line for us today. We have a listener calling in. Hi, good morning. Who's this?
This is Dave from South Texas.
Well, hello, Dave from South Texas. What part? Let's see. What's in South Texas? Houston's part of South Texas, right?
Houston's in South
San
Texas.
Antonio.
San Antonio.
South
Sweet.
Antonio, okay.
All right. Go Spurs.
Yeah.
Actually, were they very good last year? I don't remember them being very good. Were they? No, they got pretty far. You guys did all right. Right?
Yeah. You made it to the playoffs. That's all.
Well, it's good to have you here. Thanks for being a part of it. Brian's going to explain how this works, what our topic is, and how you could win.
That's right. I'm going to be giving Scott and Brian Dunaway a topic. The two of them are going to go back and forth giving me answers, responses that fit that topic. If one of them gives a wrong answer, a repeated answer, or they take too long to come up with an answer, the win goes to the other player. Dave, your job is to predict who's going to come out on top based on the topic. Today, you are playing for a pair of CDs, courtesy of Dizzy Box 9 and Trend Selva. Hope you still have a CD player because these are worth it, as well as a copy of Rising Storm 2 Vietnam on Steam.
Oh, that's
courtesy
awesome.
Of Wesley, I believe.
Nice.
That's
hey,
pretty
did
good.
you see these? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
CDs, nuts. All right. So the topic today comes to us from John Brown, if that is your real name.
Oh,
Sent this
look
to
at
me
that.
last week.
Ooh.
I'll be John Brown.
All
Give me
right.
In honor of Batman Day from last week, he's getting a star, finally getting a star on the Walk of Fame in 2020. You know, the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard
There
of
are 18 fictional characters or groups of characters that have stars on the Walk of Fame.
it. Oh.
13 are from movies and 5 are from TV. How many can you name?
Give me
Yeah, so fictional characters or groups of characters who have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay. I've never thought of this before. This is going to be really weird. I didn't even know that was
Gonna
a thing, to be
they're
honest.
guessable. A lot of them are guessable.
I assumed it was fake. Sorry, I assumed they were all real people, not fake people. And so this is
Yeah,
news
that's
to me.
what I would assume too.
Yeah, this is news to me. All right.
Actually, I do remember one. One. I have one. There. Okay.
Ooh,
All right, good.
That's a weird echo.
All
Anyway,
right,
yeah.
so Dave, knowing that that is the topic, who do you want to go first and who do you think is going to win?
Hello, Dave.
Dave?
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
That's all right. Who do you like? Who do you think? Who should go first and who should win?
I'm going to have you go, Scott to win and Brian to go first.
All right. I like those odds.
Oh, very good.
Brian, you're first
Now,
then. Yes.
I am going to, here's what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that this goes for a little while. So I will give you each one mulligan.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Oh, nice. I might just use my first mulligan just for funsies then.
Just to get it out of the way. All right.
Just to go ahead and get it out of the way.
All right.
So it seems like I remember. Oh my god. Okay, so it seems like I remember something a long time ago with Kermit D. Frog making it to the
Oh man, that was
Walk
my
of
first
Fame.
one.
I remember something of like it was like in a talk show or something. I can't remember. Go ahead. Is that correct memory or is that?
That is
Or
an
my mulligan.
absolutely correct memory. Kermit the Frog does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Damn
I think you
it.
stole Scott's.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
did I really?
That was totally my
Yeah.
first guess. Yeah. It was.
Well, actually, my first guess was another one, but I thought if this one had it, then surely the other one must have it. So I went for the mulligan.
Oh, wow. Clever idea. All right, Scott.
I'm gonna say. Now it feels. Now it's gonna seem. I don't know.
Don't say Trump because we don't want to make this political.
I mean, he is kind of a character. Probably Mickey Mouse, if I had to guess. He's on there.
Oh, that's a
Probably.
good one. I didn't think about
Probably.
Mickey Mouse.
Yes, Mickey Mouse does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That opens up a whole avenue. You probably were a lot more giving at some point in time on the Walk of Fame. Now, the actual thing I remember, and I don't know if this was just all pretend or what, but I remember Big Bird doing something with the Walk of Fame, but I'm not sure if that's just like childhood lies or if that was actually happened.
Childhood lies.
Lies! They are lies!
They're
So is that your,
those
that is your
lies.
guess is Big Bird?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you said it wasn't it. Okay, go ahead. Yes, Big Bird.
Big Bird does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Woo! I thought I remembered that correctly.
Uh, Well, let's stay with
All the Muppets are on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's my guess.
There probably are more Muppets on there. I'll stay in the animated realm. Probably Bugs Bunny's there, if I had to guess.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bugs Bunny, also a very good guess and also a correct one. Bugs Bunny does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't go what I thought you were going to go with, because I'm like, surely, if for no other reason than continuity, surely Miss Piggy must be on the Walk of Fame. There's no way Kermie is on there and not Miss Piggy. And
there's your first mulligan.
Oh, dadgummit.
I mean, there's your only mulligan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your first and only mulligan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no Miss Piggy.
No Miss Piggy.
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
A quick reminder. It's not just characters, but also groups of characters as well. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Not unrelated to what Brian just said, but I feel like we're getting in there. We're really focused on individuals.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like you're giving this one to me.
Yeah, but
so
you
I'm
can't
gonna
answer it
say-
because you already answered one. That was your mulligan. It's my turn.
Okay, I got you. So the mulligan, you don't get to re-guess then. You have to wait until it's your turn again. Is that what you're saying?
I guess we could go either way. Let's say, let's say that you don't get to guess again right away. You have to wait for Scott to
You got
guess.
a cooldown. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason
You
I
have
would
a
give you
cooldown period.
the reason you have a cooldown is because Brian just gave you a huge hint, so you have to sit on that cooldown.
Jerks.
All right.
Just sit there and mull it over.
Now that you've said groups, you've given me new life here, because I was going to be out. Honestly, I was out.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
now
Wow.
I'm because I didn't know which of these characters it would be, but now I'm convinced it's the whole group. It's probably The Simpsons.
The Simpsons do have a star. Very good. Yeah, I'm glad you thought of that. The Simpsons as a whole, as a group.
Yeah, I guess that makes
have a
sense
star.
because you can't have all of the Simpsons on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but they're all well known.
Right.
A lot. There, I'm going with the Muppets. Whew.
The Muppets is a very good guess, and yes,
I was so afraid Scott was going to take that from me. All
the
right.
Muppets as a group do have a So I mean, I didn't know where to go on that because Miss Piggy is a member of the Muppets, but you can't just say Miss Piggy and get that. So
Good point.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
inferred that from Brian's explanation. at the
yeah,
time.
yeah. That's all, the other reason I gave you mulligans to use is that.
How about this one? I gotta think Minnie Mouse is on there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
But see-
equality, right? If
Yeah.
Mickey has one.
But
Yeah.
that's what I thought with Miss Piggy, and you saw what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a pig though. No one likes pigs.
Hey,
Right, everyone
she's
likes
a pig.
mice. Indeed. Miss Minnie Mouse does have a star. on the
Okay.
Hollywood
That's
Walk.
crap.
Yeah, Miss Piggy should sign a petition and get all pissed.
That's crap.
Yeah. But it's our crap. All right, what do you got there,
Right.
Dunaway? What do you got?
All right, trying to racking my brain through, fictional characters that mostly appeared either in prime time. This not human, but are fictional characters, and we named all the biggins.
The Biggins.
The biggins.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Urgh.
It's nice it's nice having a mulligan still, I have to say. I like having one.
Yeah.
It is nice having a Logan. That's crap.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Goofy. Goofy's on the Walk of Fame. We've already did other Disney Disney characters. Surely Goofy got his weird self out there on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and put his hand into the cement and messed it up and said "Gorsk," and something bad happened. Surely
Now keep in mind the Hollywood Walk of Fame is not the cement in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater, but it doesn't matter. No,
What is that?
well, it's a different thing. The stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame are those like embedded gold stars with people's names in it, whereas the other.
Well, I
things are
never
just
had a
like-
chance to begin with. I was conflating the two.
I know.
I was
know.
too.
Goofy might have his handprints in the Grauman's Chinese Theater, but he does not have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You know who I was going to say? I'm glad you blew it because I don't think I was going to be right then with my follow-up, which was going to be Donald Duck, but I don't know. Like it seems like
Donald Duck does have a star.
Oh, he does?
Dang it!
He does.
Oh, I
Donald
would've
Stupid
been
Goofy
right.
never gets his time.
Right. Here are all the ones you could have said. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Donald Duck was your follow-up there. Godzilla.
Yeah.
The Munchkins.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Rugrats.
Okay.
Shrek. Snoopy. Snow White. Tinkerbell.
Snoopy.
Winnie the Pooh and Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, Woody
Woody
Woodpecker.
Woodpecker.
How'd he get in
No,
there?
look, I love Walter Lansing. I love Woody Woodpecker, but I guess he was much bigger in a different
Did
day
you
and
say
age.
Walter Lansing?
Did I say Walter Lansing?
Yeah.
Walter
Walter
Lancer.
Lance. Walter Lance.
Walter Lance.
Yeah, it's all
Walter
right.
Lancer's in my pockets.
I do the same thing.
Lance in my pants.
This is fantastic news, though, for our listener who called in because that means he
That's
won.
correct.
So how do you feel
He
about
won.
being the big winner here? How you feel today?
I feel great, sir. Really
Oh,
great.
That's awesome. Well, here's what you got to do all the way from South Texas. You got to send an email to Brian Ibbett, coverville@gmail.com, and he will send your winnings. Congratulations once again.
Absolutely correct. Make sure you send your mailing address because that's how you do it.
Yep, because
Hey,
it's
yes.
some physical prizes here, folks. Well, that's awesome. Well done, Dunaway. That was a hard one. I was kind of out.
That was
The
a
Donald
hard
Duck one, I thought I was going to get wrong, so I'm a little surprised that was in there. And I was going to say, like, I noticed like Bob's Burgers just hit 10 years, and I thought, wouldn't that be a thing you do? But maybe that's something they do now, so they're not going to count.
Yeah, but that feels like something Bob's Burgers wouldn't really care about. Like I feel like
Really?
The
I think they
Simpsons is
would.
you think so?
They might.
Yeah, I think it would be totally excited. They'd have to close the burger place down for a whole day. I feel like it'd be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love that show, but you're right. I don't know if what we're asking is whether the producers would care, I guess.
Right,
And they
exactly,
probably
yeah.
would. I don't know.
Because I mean, it isn't just a deal of like, oh, you get awarded this. You have to be approved for it, and you have to pay for it. And you pay something like $10,000 a year for the upkeep is what you're doing.
Yeah, people don't-
$40,000 says Pops and Rick.
40. Holy schmick. Really? Per year.
Holy schmicks, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's a big chunk of change out of somebody's wallet who probably like the Woody Woodpecker folks. Sure, I'm sure Walter Lance was really happy about it when it happened, but now the Walter Lance estate is on the hook for that money every year.
Well, just that. Actually, I have a question about that, but I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to it. But if you are the Walter Lance, family trust or whatever, can you 50 years later go, this is dumb. We don't care if we're on that thing. Can you just stop paying and then they'll just take his thing out and he's just not on there anymore?
I'll bet. Yeah, I have a feeling that somebody has had their star removed from the Walk of Fame.
There's got to be. Well, I'm sure somebody has from some horrible scandal, probably, right?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Says here, Pops and
Let's see.
Recline says Dustin Hoffman and Julia Roberts declined their nominations. I mean,
No, thank you.
yeah, I don't want to pay
there's
40
a-
grand a year. That's dumb.
I agree. That's crazy.
Did Kevin
There's
Spacey have
a
one?
Donald Trump star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame
Well,
for
give it
some reason.
Give it some time.
So,
Give it some time.
so this is kind of like getting into the Who's Who book every year. It's like, oh yay, I'm in the book. Oh yay, I gotta pay.
Yeah,
No good.
yeah. This is kind of a scam in my opinion. I don't like it.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah,
Bill Cosby still has a star. Michael Jackson still has a star.
Yeah.
Even though there've been like people saying, voting to say, could we have these removed?
Well, in Cosby's case, here's what I do. Well, whatever. It's all bullshit. It's all
Put an
crap.
asterisk.
No, it's just all people worship. Like, stop worshiping people, and then maybe they'll stop doing dumb stuff like this. Like, I like
Yeah,
actors and things and stuff, but really, 40 grand a year just so you can have your name on there. Like, that's the most. What's the word? What is it when you're too into yourself? Not
Narcissistic?
Not narcissism. It's maybe that's it. It's just really narcissistic. It's lame. Lame.
It is.
Vain. There you go. Vanity. Thank you, Sidian.
Oh,
It is. Wow. People have actually
dang.
wielded pickaxes and reduced stars to rubble for people
Yeah.
that they disagree with.
Oh yeah, no, they
Specifically-
recently had to fix the Trump
specifically-
one like twice. The Trump one
Yeah.
keeps getting all beat up. So
Yeah.
somebody gets all mad and pounds
Maybe I
the
could
Trump
make
one.
it, redo it in gold.
Do it
Just
again.
get something that can't be broken.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Right.
I have some of the best stars.
I was going to say something about something. Oh, this reminds me, Brian, tell me if this all sounds familiar to you. It's almost like all the years that they would give you awards for a certain thing, you were like, oh, cool, I got an award. And I could actually physically take it, and that's cool. Thanks for this reward or award that you gave me. And then at some point they said, hey, you won, but you have to pay for that award. And then I said, F you, we're not doing that anymore. How about that?
Yeah.
I remember that. That was a thing.
Huh. Yeah, has something like that ever happened? Huh?
Weird.
Is that ever a labor of love?
Yeah, not this year. Not this year, he'd say. All right,
Yeah.
Dunaway, as always, a pleasure. Today,
hi, Scott.
Today at 3:30, we're going to do the Boop Show, which I'm very excited about because we had a lot to talk about. I got some major indie vibes happening with my new Switch Lite.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to talk about
I do
those.
too. Did you pick up the Untitled Goose Game?
No, I'm like the one person on the planet who didn't grab it yet. I don't know why I've resisted. It's not even expensive. It's like a $15 game. It's like no big deal. I don't know why I haven't picked it up, but I haven't.
Please tell me this is based on the Top Gun character.
No, it's an
it is
actual
not.
goose.
It's based on the goose.
It's more based on Mendoza, basically. Like everything I used to hate about that goose
nice.
is in this game.
Yeah, nice.
You play a goose and you just ruin everybody's lives, and it's kind of taken everything by storm. It's memey as hell. I just need to play it. I feel like part of this is it took off so virally that it annoyed me how viral it was, and I didn't grab it.
Oh.
I know that's a little bit of a snotty position to take, and I don't know why I took it.
No,
but
that can be a turnoff, though. Like if there's an overabundance of buzz about something, it's in
Right.
our nature to say, "Oh, I don't want," It's
yeah, it's
For
too
whatever
too.
reason.
I'm too cool for that. I can't
kind
play
of
that.
any kind of it is, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Boy,
I don't
talk
want to. I don't want to just follow
You're
the
so
herd and be like
vain.
everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think this song is about me.
I really do think this song is about you. Anyway, we'll see. I don't know. I may still pick it up, but we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff and more today on the Boop Show at 3:30 Mountain Time, right here at frogpants.tv, and of course on the podcast. If you're looking for details, go to frogpants.com/BOOP. That's boop. Brian Dunaway, the Brian Dunaway on Twitter. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
See, Brian.
Oh, he left so quickly. I couldn't remove him. Remove him.
Wow.
I can't speak
Like
English.
a fart in the wind.
Like a fart in the wind. All right, we're going to do a story today in the news, and here it is.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
It's time for the news, and it's brought to you by...
Brought to you by America's Next Top Podcaster. This morning, we put up the first judging and elimination episode of the season. Find out who went home in the very first judging and elimination episode. We had the first, episode last week where we got to know all the contestants.
Sure.
Gave them a challenge to create an introduction podcast. How did they do? Well, somebody went home. Find out who it is. America's Next Top Podcaster.com.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
was.
The sending somebody home thing just never gets easy.
Always is. And
Yeah.
we have one today, and it never gets easier.
Nope. I'm looking forward to it, though. I enjoyed last week. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because Jury wasn't there. Just kidding. I look forward to it. All right, we're going to do
I
this
think Jenny
one.
might not be there today.
Oh, right. She had a possible thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. These judges, come on.
I know. Come on. I told you guys months in advance.
Now suddenly you have things coming up. I see how it is.
Exactly.
All right, quick story because it's Vegas related because we talk about Vegas a lot, so why not? A 9-year-old boy took his mom's car for a drive around Las Vegas, according to police. Don't do this. This is not good for a 9-year-old. I've driven around Vegas. Don't let a 9-year-old do this.
Right. I don't even want to drive around Vegas as an adult.
Right. This is all true. Las Vegas authorities on Sunday stopped a 9-year-old boy who they said took his mom's car for a spin while she was in the shower. Police received a call around 8:45 a.m. from a bystander who claimed to have spotted the boy driving in a northern Las Vegas suburb. Well, that's not so bad. It's not like they're around the strip or something.
No.
The witness, Mark Cabagon, said he
Cabagon.
saw the vehicle swerving in and out of traffic and tried to alert other drivers. I really thought it was a drunk driver, he says.
I think you took the guy's wallet.
I think I found a transformer. Caliban told the Las Vegas 5 channel, he says, that's why I was so cautious. Police pulled over the vehicle near Craig Road and North Decatur. Hey, you have a Decatur as well, don't you?
We do, yeah.
We
We have
don't-
a Decatur.
we don't-
Decatur's a fairly common name, I
We
think.
don't have one of those here. I wish we did because everyone has a
Oh, you
Decatur
don't
and we
have
don't. No.
It's a weird thing to
I know.
want, but sure.
It's a weird thing to
Okay.
pine after. Yeah, it's a little odd. I agree. But we have a place called Hurricane, which is spelled like hurricane, but we refuse to call it a hurricane, so we call it Hurricane.
Right.
That's cool.
Right.
That's a thing we have. Anyway, roughly 6 miles from where the boy lived, by the way, so that's about as far as he got. Police said no one was hurt, and the youngster was released to his mother. No citations were issued. It was unclear whether the boy would be grounded or not, says Metro Police.
Really, I love it. We'll get back to with more on that story.
I mean, a 9-year-old.
so
I'm trying to think when I was 9, if I'd have had the guts to do anything remotely like this. I don't think I would have.
Yeah. So I'm looking at where this is, Craig in Decatur, and it's very northwest. It's north of the North Las Vegas Airport, not McCarran, but the North Las Vegas Airport. So it's basically it's just a little bit west of when you drive in on the 15. When you first start getting into town, that's where.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that's a hoity-toity neighborhood over there. It's fancy.
It might be. I don't know.
I think it's fancy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, North in
Let's
general
see.
is nicer than South Vegas. Like North Vegas is like the nice.
There are a few swimming pools around this area. However, there's a wall on this intersection. We've got a Chevron, a Craig Discount Mall, a Walgreens, the Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza.
Great.
Yeah, it's not. And I don't see a lot of swimming pools
All
in
right.
backyards.
Maybe
in
not
the-
great then.
in the upper view.
Well, they got
There's
what they got.
there's a swimming pool here that looks like it's got testicles. I'm gonna send you. I wonder if I
Wait.
can.
Swimming
Yes,
pool with
indeed.
testicles floating in it, or it's the shape of testicles?
The shape of testicles. Tell me if this works. Can I send you that link? Does it take you to the, or does it just show you the? It just shows you the intersection where the.
So my favorite Del Toro movie was The Shape of Testicles. By the way, I really enjoyed that film.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. They deserve to win Best Picture that year.
So that centered you on the Walgreens, right? That link I just gave you.
Let me look. Sorry, I didn't see that it was there yet. Yes, it did.
Yeah,
It's
it goes
just
2 blocks east and half a block south, and you'll see the pool with testicles.
Yeah, it, oh my gosh. That pool is violating that house.
It looks like it. It totally
Yeah.
No kidding.
I can't tell.
Just the tip of that pool.
Yeah,
is
just
in
the tip.
house.
Just the tip. Are these all just the rattiest backyards, or is it just me, or is it because it's the desert? That's probably why.
It might. Yeah, I think it's because of the desert, but also this might have been, wintertime. Well, I guess you don't really get stuff dying like this seasonally. If it's dead, it stays dead.
Wintertime. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the? Oh, okay. Now I found actual Vegas.
Yeah.
The part
way south.
the part I consider Vegas.
Sure.
All this other stuff is horse crap. Nobody thinks that this is Vegas.
That's right.
All right. Well, there you go. There's that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Steven Schleicher will be with us. Was not here last week, so excited to have him back. We're going to talk a little about Spider-Man and how we totally called it. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
Also, we're going to talk a little bit about New York Comic Con, which is coming up this week, and other stuff. So stick around for that. We've also got a great email at the end of the show, as well as a Monday mashup. And a reminder that if you like all this stuff we've been throwing at you today, you can support us at patreon.com/TMS. That's patreon.com/TMS. Be like the cool kids and support your favorite morning show. All right, Brian, it's time for you to tell me what song we're playing.
Scott, it is time for us to listen to the KVB. Not the KBG, but the KVB. This one less hassle to listen to than KGB. This is a band called the KVB. They're not Russian. They're North American. Where are they specifically? Looks like they are from, because I was like, let's see, San Diego, maybe?
Sure.
That's funny. Usually I like seeing where these guys are from, and this one, they don't really talk about it. It's originally a project started by a guy named Nicholas Wood.
Mm-hmm.
He's a multi-instrumentalist, singer, and songwriter. Started this thing as a solo project. They did a bunch of limited cassettes and vinyl releases. But now they've got a bunch of new songs. Kat Day has joined She's a vocalist and keyboardist as well as a visual artist. And they released their debut album a few years ago, back in 2012. This is the brand new album called Submersion. It's just coming out at the end of this week. Here's the song Into Life.
All right. We'll see you on the other side.
No one plans on having an accident. Least of all this pretty little thing.
Found a lemon in the ocean and ate it.
The Morning Stream. Shut up, baby, I know it.
All right, we're back. Okay, I had it backwards. North Vegas, depends on the part of North Vegas you're in, but I guess it's not the nice end. There's a part of Vegas that's like super hoity-toity high end.
Yeah, I think that's west.
Is that
like
West
the
Vegas?
Further west you go, close to like Red Rock and stuff like that. I think is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think now it's all coming to me. North is actually the really rough. It can be the rough end of Vegas, but whatever. It'll all get gentrified eventually, and no one can afford to live there. It's fine. That's how it'll all work
right.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you ever seen how cities work? That's how they work.
You ever seen how cities work?
You ever seen Peeper? Oh my gosh, there's so much Waterworld reference lately. It's come up in shows. It's come up in personal conversations out of nowhere. It came up again this week because a fan of some of the shows on the network is a game developer, and they just made a game called Flotsam that's on Steam. That's basically build your own Waterworld shantytown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's like the world got covered in water, and all you're left with is all the detritus and shit that's in the water, and you got to like group it all up and build. It's like a city builder, but it's like build a thriving Waterworld colony,
like on an atoll or something like that.
Yeah,
atoll?
like there's a big floaty middle bit, and then you got a lot of rickety bridges out to the other floaty bits, and it's pretty rad. It's called Flotsam.
That's
it's
really
very cool. Yeah, I played a tiny bit, and I plan to stream some, but if he's listening, that thing is rad. It's like made for me. I love it. Anyway. Nice. Oh, Amish Overlord, are you in Vegas? How many? We have more people that live in Vegas than they tell us. They don't always tell us. It's not just. It's not all Tony. There's more than just Tony.
It's more than just Tony and the same-sex marry couple. I think I had Amish Overlord and I had oxtail soup after midnight at the Californian a couple years ago, because that's a thing you do. You go and you have oxtail soup really late at night.
Yep, that's how you get the oxtail runs later.
Exactly. Oh, this sounds so good though.
Yeah, oxtail soup is really good. I'd have some now if it was here.
Yeah.
Does Mitsula? Okay, Mitsula. He always surprises me with the references he says on Twitter. I didn't think he listened to this show, regularly, but I think he might because he brings up stuff weirdly. So this is
I think he does.
Here's a little test. Mitsula, what's your favorite cigar? Now later on Twitter, if he's heard the episode, he will say something to you and I. Tag me and Brian in it so we know you listen to the show.
Right, on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a Swisher Sweet.
Ooh, a Swisher Sweet.
Because I know it's not. I know that's like, those are cheap cigars. Macanudos and Swisher Sweets. No, I'm sure it's like some $50 cigar that he gets at that place on Spring Mountain.
Is it still the Cubans? People like the Cubans? Is that a thing?
Yeah, people like the Cubans. Still the best. Still the best kind of cigars you can get, I hear, are Cubans.
Still a threat. All right.
The Mark Cubans.
Nice. Very rich cigars.
Very rich cigars, yes. Little plastic surgery on them, too.
I'm going, yeah, a little bit. Just a little.
A little bit.
I'm going to add Steven to this discussion.
Yay.
Whoops. He goes by.
I got to remember to talk to Steven outside of the show about something ANTP related.
Oh, really? That's great to hear. I'd love him to be on that or part of that in some way.
Yes.
All right. Well, here's his theme.
Steven.
All the way from Hayes, Kansas, the one, the only, the pop culture icon himself, Steven Schleicher. Hello and welcome.
Well, hello, Scott. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
We missed you last week. How'd it go for you?
Yeah. Meetings are stupid.
Yeah, meetings are stupid.
This is true.
I agree.
They make you stupid.
Yeah.
And they waste time.
They waste time. Everyone's
if
stupid.
Your agenda,
yeah.
If the agenda for your meeting outlines everything that you're going to talk about in detail and could be sent in an email, there's no need for a meeting.
I agree.
Right. That would accomplish the meeting.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Meetings are a waste of time. Trust me.
Could not agree more. I don't like meetings, and I don't want to have any more of them. That being said, I have like 3 today, so I'll just deal with it. Steven, it's good to have you back, though, and it comes at an opportune moment because, as I believe we all sort of predicted here, Disney and Sony we all believed that they would work a deal out for the Spider-Man MCU thing, that this wasn't dead, that this wasn't gonna, even though people were kind of saying it was and everything, it just felt to me and others that there's no way they're not gonna find a way to do this. They're gonna meet in the middle. They're gonna find a way.
If there's one thing that Disney has taught us by licensing public domain IPs and claiming them as their own, is that if you clap your hands and you believe, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's right. That's the Disney way. It's really, truly the most wonderful place on earth. And so, yeah.
When this thing first got announced, there was such a fervor for it, or such excitement over it, and it's exciting news. But it's got to be tempered with the fact that they're just agreeing on doing one more movie, and then that's it. It's it's not like.
Well, and then they can renegotiate, right?
They can renegotiate after that, and Sony's crazy if they don't, because that's just money in their pocket to have Marvel's involvement.
That's true.
Quality comparisons to Venom versus Homecoming and Far From Home.
I'm gonna play something just for tone. So here you go. Let's get that. Anyway, it's the old '60s Spider-Man jazz theme. It's hard to tell.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
wow,
it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe this one's better. Hold on.
Spider-Man.
Here we go.
That's whatever a spider can. Keep in mind that Andrew Allen did one.
Yeah.
Why don't I have that?
Jazz.
I should.
Why don't you have that?
I don't know why I don't have that.
You better have that.
I have those on. You know what? I never burned those, or I never ripped them.
I have those
the
on
discs.
CD.
Yeah, I have the discs.
You never ripped them?
I never ripped them, but I have the discs. But yeah, like that one, by the way, the Michael Bublé one is made cooler because it's Junkie XL did the remix on it and the mastering on it.
Oh, nice.
That guy did the entire soundtrack for the one, the only Mad Max Fury Road. Anyway.
It's 2 mentions in one episode.
We're going. It's like 2015 all up in here. Anyway, so Steven,
here's
give us the details. Yeah. Well, how did this all work out?
Here's the terms. Well, I'll get into the rumor part in just a minute, but here's the terms of the deal.
Okay.
Disney gets now 25% of the gross from the next Spider-Man solo film in return to some help, although Amy Pascal is continuing to produce just like she did for the previous 2 films. In return, Disney/Marvel is now putting in about 25% of the budget. Under the terms of the original coming to the table, do what we're telling you to do, Disney speak, it was anywhere from 30 to 70% was going to go to Disney. Disney/Marvel Studios still maintains merchandising rights, meaning they get to sell all the toys and make all the money from the toys. And then Tom Holland or Spider-Man can be used in one Marvel Studios film. And then, of course, the Spider-Man in the Spider-Man franchise that Sony is doing. So that's the current terms of the agreement.
Okay, so wait, does that mean if they do an MCU movie at Disney Marvel, and one of those can have him be in there? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and then Sony gets to do their own Spider-Man stuff, because here's the thing that people, and this is where the crazy rumors mill starts coming in. People don't realize that essentially when Marvel was going bankrupt, they bought Spider-Man. Sony bought Spider-Man in perpetuity and have the rights to do Spider-Man and all the associated properties in perpetuity as long as they were maintaining production on Spider-Man films. The hot rumor on why this suddenly came about is that someone, not going to mention any names, thought that it was the other way around. They thought Marvel Studios/Disney was licensing Spider-Man to Sony and thought that they had the upper hand in the deal, and they didn't understand the contract correctly.
Whoa.
So that is what happened before D23 about a month ago. And so apparently Kevin Feige had to come in and renegotiate and sit down with everybody and say, okay, now that everyone understands what the real contract is like, let's see what deal we can work out. Disney got 25% and 25-25 is essentially what they get in this deal, which is not what was originally bandied around. Again, 50%, 30%, 70%, anywhere in that. But it's Disney's getting a little bit less than what they had hoped for.
That's a weird rumor, because I feel like I knew that the contract said that Sony owned it in perpetuity, and it would be more like licensing it back to Marvel for use. Why would anyone internally be confused about that? That's so weird to me.
Let me put this into perspective for you. Way back in the 80s, when Marvel was going through their big bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't have all the details on this, and I couldn't find the book that kind of chronicled this event. But Marvel was up for sale, and there was a bit of a bidding war going on. And Revlon ended up buying Marvel in like 88, I want to say 88, 90, somewhere around there. And Revlon, run by Ronald Perlman, not to be confused with Ron Perlman.
Thank goodness.
And not to be confused with like Perlmutter, who was over at, what is he? He was at Toy Biz or whatever, I think, at the time. Or maybe he was also at Revlon. But when the deal was signed for Revlon to buy Marvel, and they told the executive in charge, he's like, yes, we've got Superman.
Really?
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
geez.
So all the time they thought that they were trying to buy DC, when in reality they were buying Marvel. Then, of course, the upshot of that is Ronald Perlman was like, hey, if all these people are buying these comic books as collectors, why don't we just start gradually increasing the price until the market figures out where that balance is? And we've kind of been in a downward spiral for comic sales ever since.
Are we talking about the Revlon, like the makeup people? Really?
Yes.
That's weird. Isn't that weird?
That's really weird. That's
so
extremely weird.
And then it was
So
only like
that's-
90.
I know it's Maybelline, but I just keep thinking maybe you're born with it. Maybe it's Revlon.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I know,
at the time,
I know that's Maybelline. Yeah.
at the time, Ronald Perlman was just buying up stuff and trying to find ways of making money on it. And of course, he did help turn around. He essentially bankrupted Marvel, is what happened, and was able to sell it off to the lowest bidder, pennies on the dollar. And then that's when like Perlmutter came in and took over and started, turning the ship around. But if you're wondering, how can someone at Marvel/Disney, who apparently from rumors is the reason why Feige is doing his own thing now and not under certain people, if that person can't understand how a contract is written today, you just look at what happened before. It's what goes around comes around. So this isn't, now that some of this stuff might be coming to light, and again, this is all rumor at this point,
Right.
but if that's really what happened, it doesn't surprise me.
I want to be conspiratorial and say that Perlman and Perlmutter are very close to they both had Pearl in the name. Yeah. And that Ron Perlman, the actor Ron Perlman, played Hellboy in a competing freaking Dark Horse product.
Yeah, and had to wear a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
It could have been Revlon.
Yeah, what's this about? Big makeup once again, taking over the entertainment.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's interesting. I want to see what this actually means in terms of what do we get at the box office and when.
Oh, hey, we're getting a new Spider-Man coming out in July of 2021. So there you go.
All right, well, there's that, and we know it's Tom Holland, and we know it can have connectivity to the fabric that is the MCU.
To the MCU.
And that's what everybody
And
wanted. So I guess that's good.
Totally is. I'm just curious how because then basically everything kind of shifts back to Sony for all of the like Morbius and this new Madam Web thing that got announced, and probably a Venom sequel and all that sort of thing. And so we have to have some way of explaining why now, with all this other stuff going around, there's no Avengers helping out and any other
Yeah, I was trying to find this list on Friday when they announced that Spider-Man was back. Somewhere on Twitter or somewhere, Sony kind of laid out exactly what their next bunch of movies are, including Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Homecoming 3, all the stuff that you kind of mentioned, and a bunch more stuff, Morbius. So, it does look like Sony kind of knows what they're doing. And if they can continue to feed Disney just a little bit of money, a little bit of profit to get some of Marvel's help in making sure storylines are structured correctly, et cetera, until they kind of figure this out on their own, seems like right now is a pretty good deal. Although in 2021, we're going to be right back at this table again. So
yeah. So I didn't know Jared
so.
Leto was going to be Morbius. What the hell's that about? Is that good? What do you? I mean, Brian, you're a fan. You like that?
It's weird.
Morbius.
I like
anyway.
Morbius. I don't know. I mean, it feels really close to his Joker makeup, right? Like, still pale white makeup and kind of blacked out eyes. I mean, it's Morbius is what, a vampire, living vampire.
Yeah,
not undead.
Basically, he has a blood disease, not
right.
not true vampirism, is my understanding. Right?
Well, isn't that what's the difference between that and Blade? Because Blade's kind of like that, or he's half human.
Blade is a half human, half vampire.
That's what it is. And Blade's
so he
getting
gets
made.
to be a daywalker.
Blade
is like a Star Trek vampire.
Right.
Whereas got one parent who's human, and the other parent who's something else, and
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. We'll of course talk about it on here as it comes along, but everyone can just assuage your fears slightly that they're going to jack up Spider-Man. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's too big. Too much money to be
We're gonna
made.
get
you guys.
another Disco Peter Parker, Disco
So-
Evil Peter Parker.
Oh Lord.
Someone in the chat is laughing at the fact that Sony is considering doing a Morbius movie and says, "See that in the dollar bin next to the Blade trilogy." Keep in mind, the only reason why we have Marvel Studios today and why the MCU is the success it is today is because of Blade.
Oh yeah, no Blade.
Not because of Iron Man,
Yeah.
but because
Right.
of the success
Right.
of Blade, where people are like, "Oh, you could make some not cheesy, superhero
Less
movies,
cheesy.
less choosy. Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started. Is Blade.
Also, Ethereal Vision Studios, who said that in the chat room, can go smoke a turd because, and I don't mean that literally. You're a nice guy, I'm sure. But what I mean is,
That's
how
what you
can
use
you
the Swisher Sweets
I mean
for.
next to the Blade trilogy in the dollar bin? The Blade trilogy is awesome. At least 1 and 2 are really good. 3's kind of weird, but
It's good, but you can find those movies in the dollar bin.
Yeah, no, that's true.
so they're good though. Like they're good.
They are good. Yeah, they're good.
I like
But
them.
they're-
Well,
you
the
can
Blade
s-
TV series was totally not.
But you can find anything from the 90s in the bin. Like it's all in the
Sure.
bin. So
I mean, who's buying DVDs?
people like that third one. I'm not a fan of that third one. That third one's not great, but that first and second one was a Del Toro joint, and that's when I was really introduced to that guy. I felt like I'd really never seen his stuff before. I guess I don't remember when
Right.
Mimic came out. Mimic was either before or after that, but it was when I tied my hitch to his wagon, and that was a really cool movie. We did that for Film Sack, and I still had fun. I thought the first one was just downright groundbreaking and amazing.
Yeah, we've only done Blade 2 for Film Sack, so we need to watch the first or the third one for Film Sack as well at some point.
Yeah, Icor says all DVDs are in the dollar bin. He's kind of right.
Kind of right, yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking DVDs, if you're doing like a 4K master cut redo,
But
then it's not in the dollar bin. Okay,
the Shawshank Redemption DVD is on its own. The Blade DVD that's $1 is all 3 Blade movies and probably the TV series as
Yes.
well.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Or combined with something that they thought was a cool thing that
Like
year.
Daredevil and Elektra or something.
Yeah.
The 5-pack for $1.
That stuff's pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
All right. Also, big comic book convention this weekend, New York City Comic Con back. I feel like we just talked about last year's. That's so weird to me. But
Do they get to use the Comic-Con name? So this is an official Comic-Con?
No, this is not. So one is hyphen, one is without hyphen.
Oh.
And if you go and look at the official New York, that's what it boils down to: is hyphen minus hyphen,
Sure.
and whether there is any kind of brand confusion between NYCC and SDCC, which is the San Diego Comic Con, and where Salt Lake City got in trouble is SLCC, which is, so close to SDCC that we need to go and sue you. And that's where the whole hyphen, no hyphen bit got into trouble. Kind of like superheroes. Did you know superheroes is trademarked?
No.
By Marvel and
Really?
DC. It's one of the few words that Marvel and DC actually work together in trademarking. And I forget which there's 2 different ways that you could do superheroes, one with a hyphen and one without a hyphen, and one of them DC and Marvel went together on to try and trademark years ago. So
That's funny. So I was probably I feel like Marvel gets the superheroes that's all one word with no hyphen, probably.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I've seen that on labels of Marvel superheroes all as one word.
Yeah, and one is the superhero is one word, the other is superhero is 2 words, others are superheroes a hyphen word. There's a whole history on the trademark of the word superhero.
Super dot heroes, hashtag superheroes.
Hashtag blessed. Why I said that. Anyway,
Super blessed.
but this is super blessed. There you go. TM. Anyway, this is a big deal. This is a particularly big con for the year. Anything anything coming out of that?
It's kind of the last big convention of the year. And when I talk big, I mean in 2 weeks there's the Baltimore Comic-Con. That I want to say I haven't looked at and to see what attendance has been the last couple of years, but when the Harvey Awards left Baltimore to go to New York, some of the shine kind of rubbed off the Baltimore Con, because that if you're going to go win an award for the Harvey Awards or any of the other awards that they're giving, you would want to go to Baltimore so you could accept the award. Now that has moved out of Baltimore, then I think that one is not as big as it was, but there are still Comic-Cons going on all over the place. In fact, every weekend between now and the end of the year, there is a Comic-Con, but New York Comic-Con is the biggest. I was looking to see if there was one in Salt Lake City before the end of the year. I'm still scrolling through the October ones.
Well, we just did one. We just did our Fan X thing, which was
okay.
I think is the big replacement for the name.
Okay.
Now, because it used to be 2 things a year. We had Salt Lake City Comic Con, and then 6 months later we'd have Fan X. And I think when they lost the suit, I think they just said, well, let's just call it Fan X, and I think that's what's the deal now. I could be wrong, but
so this convention, you'll see the last of the big push for anything coming out in the spring. All the big spring announcement stuffs will come this weekend. Some of it's already coming out. You can find some of it up on majorspoilers.com. A lot of the smaller publishers have realized, and when I say smaller publishers, I'm really referring to everyone not Marvel and not DC. They're the ones that have gotten really smart over the last couple of years, saying, hey, here's all the news that we're going to talk about at our events at the convention. So if you want to come and hear about the latest graphic novel that we have or the next big event, we're letting you know ahead of time, as opposed to trying to fight for that news cycle when the show is going on. And you have someone announcing, hey, not only do we have Spider-Man for the next 5 years, we've also got the Hulk coming in too, or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So, there's all sorts of things that could happen at this show. I haven't heard any rumblings of any major ground shaking announcements. Most of it, though, is going to be comic book news for the future. Maybe some stuff about the new CW Crisis events that have been announced. There's been speculation who else would come on to the big Crisis in the CW Universe show this fall. And the latest was, if you remember that Birds of Prey TV series that I think only made it to 1 or 2 episodes, they're bringing the Black Canary character from that TV show into this Crisis event. And it makes me wonder, and I speculated this last week on the Major Spoilers podcast, do you think that they will try to bring any of the DC cinematic universe into this? And my thinking is it'd probably be very easy for them to get Shazam to make a hot appearance in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Just so they could say, hey, we're all connected.
Yeah, he'd do it. He'd do it. He's a...
Seemed like it'd be an easy one, and he's a TV guy.
Yeah.
Got his, big break in TV.
Came from there, yeah. Hey, let me ask you this: when the Harveys moved from Baltimore to New York, did Richard Belzer go with them as Sergeant John Munch? Hey, that's a deep cut. You guys have to like that one. Deep cut on the Richard Belzer reference. That's pretty strong. All right. I try not to revel too much into my bad jokes, but that's a good one. What
the heck was that show?
It was originally Life on the.
Homicide
Life on the Streets.
Homicide, that's what it was. Yeah. That was a great show.
That's where David Simon ended up branching out and going off to do the Wire, which is also Baltimore based. Yeah, Homicide, Life on the Streets. That's what it was. So he left that and joined the same character, John Munch, joined the cast of Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, and is still there playing that character. So that's the big joke: is he left Baltimore to go to New York, and so there's my joke. See. From the Baltimore to... Anyway, I don't have to explain it anymore. It was just really good.
Either you get it and you
laugh.
Here's
I'm doing a golf clap. Golf clap.
Thank you. Golf clap.
I laugh, Scott, so you know it has to be.
You did laugh. I appreciate it. Anyway, more of this sort of stuff can be found at large over at majorspoilers.com and on the podcast, of course, over there, and all sorts of other stuff, including their Twitter account at Major Spoilers. Steven, is there anything else you'd like people to keep their eyes on?
I know, just check out the site. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out this week and into the future.
Oh, the future. And stay... We have to stay what? We always have to stay something. What is it? Stay... What is it?
Oh, stay hydrated.
Okay,
yeah, you want to...
All right, bye. Zap.
Wow, it's almost like a safe word.
Yep. He didn't see it coming. That
Gets
we know.
him out of it.
All right, mashup. It's Monday. We're doing a Monday mashup.
Yeah.
Want to thank good pal Jamie, aka TMS Mashups, over there for making this.
He's the best.
Yep. He has a Patreon for this. If you guys want to check it out, over at patreon.com/TMS Mashups. Here it is. It's called Deep Fried Cocking Poops. Let me try that again. Deep Fried Cocking Poops. I don't know what this is, so
I don't either.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Bleh.
Bleh. I can't go there. Bleh.
Where do you keep the horse?
Put him on me.
You will buy the knickers, and you would pay affordable prices.
Well, they look good and they smell good.
Put it in your mouth. Let's see how it tastes. Sony shit.
Yeah, you know that Sandy Hook thing was a total hoax. Fake news.
This is what happens when the second to the last Blackbubberspader. Let me read that again. Oh, look at this, eh? This is pretty cool. Oh, I dropped it in the sink. Okay, well, anyway.
Of course, we're all about the homegrown garlic. We have 8 varieties of garlic that can kill a human being.
Woo, look at my boobs. I'm going to pull a hard one out. I'm not showing you.
You've got your USB port plugged into the wrong.
You want the long one or the short one?
Oh, the long one, of course.
All right, here you go. Eat a peach. Do you say it like that?
Oh, won't you go and eat a peach?
I'm not on tour anymore. Larry Ferzig, yeah. He found a few $100 in coins each year, going along finding the beer cans, yeah.
Yeah, it was back when there were cinnamon crispas and not those cinnamon deep fried cocking poops.
Deep fried cocking poops?
Yeah, like they come out of a little cocking gun
Right.
and then into the fryer where they turn into little hard poops.
Yeah, that's brilliant. As long as you don't mind plugging the butt when you hear it, it's fine. If you can... Or what? What'd I say? As long as you don't mind improvising. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. You mean pulling stuff out of my ass?
That's what I meant.
Harry, your owl has an angry inch. He's got a very angry, very small micro penis.
Yeah, I held on to your letter for a little extra.
So, Alex, I'll take stamps for 200.
Hey, look, it's Mailman Monty. What did he bring today? What did Mailman Monty bring? He has letters and other stuff. Hey, Monty, what's up? Made me choke this time.
Someone's gonna turn that into a like an opening theme cartoon.
They should.
From Mailman Monty.
We'd welcome it with open arms.
Of course we would.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, I had no idea when we said deep fried cocking poops. I had no idea what the reference was, and realizing it was talking about the current dessert offering from Taco Bell.
Right, and it's also that screwy word cocking. It's pronounced, or it's spelled caulking, but no one says that.
Caulking.
They all say cocking. I do. Right? Yeah. You got a cocking gun. Yes, I do. I have a cocking gun. No one says, I have a caulking gun.
Caulking gun.
That's for weirdos.
Right.
All right. Well, that was a good time. Quick email from a listener. This is a follow-up to some anime versus cartoon thing, I think.
Oh, good. Yes.
This is from, let's see. It's called Anime in Time. And did I get the name? Ah, crap. There's no name. He didn't include his name. But he says, Konnichiwa, Sushi and Burrito's dad. Or Boruto's dad.
Boruto's dad.
It's a Japanese anime thing, I think. Anyway, so I thought I'd just weigh in on the whole anime/cartoon deal as a hardcore anime lover. You know what I mean, he says. Cartoon is a very broad term that includes anime, comic strips, and Western animation. I agree with Scott and Nicole insofar as it sounds weird to call anime cartoons, but it's mostly because we also use cartoons to specifically refer to a type of animated show for kids. Anime falls under the broad sense of cartoon, but not always the more specific usage. Fun fact, in Japan, excuse me, anime refers to all types of animation. This includes things like SpongeBob. Love the show, though. Tokyo. Or in Tokyo. P.S. The time zones are very useful for understanding what time of day it is. I'm choking on water still from my laughing so hard, damn it. If we all use a universal time zone, times will no longer encode additional meaning, i.e. 1800 hours is the time most people are off work, 10:30 is the time we have breakfast at McDonald's, etc. Yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. That we would culturally have to shift some of our cool ideas about what times mean. When lunch is just now. It's no longer all. Oh, I'm getting out here at noon. I got to eat. It's more like I'm getting out of here at 24 beats past a monkey or whatever the terms.
Right, exactly. I mean, that is the weird part, is that you're talking about. You need then some common term that is not time related to talk about what that time of day is.
Yep.
I mean, morning, evening, all that stuff works. Afternoon kind of has to be changed up because afternoon you could be asleep in the afternoon.
That's right.
Time after 12 noon, you might be asleep.
Yeah, so that all changes. But good points overall, and I agree with all his take on the anime thing. That is interesting, though. This usually happens. We think that Americans tend to do this thing where, like, that's offensive to whatever, and we get all kind of white anger or white guilt about a certain thing or something.
Sure.
And it turns out in Japan, they don't care. They call SpongeBob anime. Like, that's not anime, but they call it that. So we just have our own definitions, and we get so hung up on it, and so who cares? I think this is actually an argument against what I was saying, which was you can't call anime cartoons.
It is, because it feels like cartoons are light and fluffy and fun, and anime can be heavy and sci-fi, deep.
Yeah.
And
right.
So it feels like cartoon doesn't give it enough respect, but I think cartoon is a general term, and call your anime, call your cartoons.
That's right.
It's fine.
My sister Misha called, when we were growing up, she called them carntoons with an N.
Cartoons.
Yep. She says, I don't like.
Those are just the bloody ones.
She'd go, I don't like cartoons, she'd say. And I used to say, well, you can't talk about it until you can say cartoons normally, like a normal person.
I'm going to be. Here's a little tease for Wednesday, but my recommendal this week is going to be a cartoon.
Ooh, is it really?
Yeah,
animated?
It is.
Not
anime.
Oh.
Well, no, I take that back. Anime.
Is it kind of anime?
It fits the anime description. So yes.
Interesting.
Crazy. Which
I just noticed something that BioCow added to the titles.
Oh, really?
He has a showed mark only button.
Oh.
Do you know how easy this is going to make my life? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's only available to, we have to log in to be able to see it. So not everybody can mark it. Look at that.
I know, you have to be a mod. You have to be one of us to see this.
Only mods can see this.
Amazing. You even had a little tool tip there. Man,
What
BioCare.
if mods were one of us?
BioCow, why is that familiar? Oh, because we had that big discussion on, was it Top Podcast? Oh, no. Sorry. We had a DTNS Good Day Internet discussion about why that song is either stupid or great. It was a really fun discussion about that song and whether,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. Where do you stand on it? Do you
One
like
of
it?
Us?
You like it?
I think it's okay. I mean, I get what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it recently because I included Prince did a cover of that song, and I included it on Guess the Connection on Friday.
Oh. See, look at all these connections we got going on right now. Here, this deserves one of these.
I can definitely see why you like it.
There you go. That works for that song. Why don't I just have that?
Oh,
out?
for one of us.
Yeah, because Sarah Lane hates it, and I kind of like it, and so we had a little friendly fight.
It's
about
okay.
It. Anyway, BioCow, just want to say I don't care what anyone says about all the methane you're putting into the air. I love your work. You're killing it. Good job.
That's right. Hey, listen, all those stomachs and still has all this time to develop cool products.
No kidding. You probably got one of those holes in the side of your thing too, don't you? Where people can reach in and do stuff. You seen that before? Where they got the hole in the side of the.
I saw it in that damn Fast Food Nation movie. Oh,
it's really gross. All right, let's do a leaving here. We're gonna leave, and here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna want to send us your emails, just like that one we got from that anonymous Japan listener whose name I didn't write down. I'm sure he's not anonymous. But anyway, that email address is themorningstream@gmail.com. Our website is frogpants.com/TMS. Everything is linked there. You can submit song requests, all sorts of stuff there, so go check that out. Although I did a little test for our song requester machine, and I'm not sure it worked.
Oh, really? It didn't get redirected to the form?
It did, but I don't know if anyone actually received it.
Oh, well, I'm confused. What do you mean?
It's not that big a deal. I sent a request that was kind of thinly veiled as if I was somebody else, and I figured I would have heard about it by now.
and I didn't.
Yeah, we haven't done it, which is okay.
Did you put a date on it?
Oh yeah, I did all that. I just tested it, but part of me thought, oh, he figured it was me and said no. Which I wouldn't blame you. Like, you don't need me fiddling in your shit. But
no, but I mean, there are a few. I've got a few that I never got to that from September and October, beginning of October, that I haven't played yet. So
it's all good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
No, I want to look and see. I'm looking back to
curious.
see.
Now you're curious. Yeah.
I am totally curious.
Anyway, that's a place you can do that. You can do all sorts of stuff there. So do that. Follow us on Twitter as well. Scott Johnson, Coverville, and Morning Stream. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it.
All right.
Yeah, you can't put it in one day before.
Oh, is that what I did?
Because I sort these. Yeah, I sort these by the date that they're for.
Yeah.
and then they're also sorted by the date they came in. So if 5 people say, "Oh, I want a request played on September 19th," but one of them came in August and the other one came in the day before, I usually pick the one that came in a month before.
Well,
I reward people who plan ahead.
No. You should. And what's ironic about that is I actually didn't care about the date. Like the date didn't matter. I think I just chose it because it was like default or whatever. So
Gotcha.
it's not it was more of me going, I keep sending people here. How does this actually work? And I went to go through and I'm like,
funny.
oh, I may as well do one while I'm in here. So that was all that was.
That cover will be on this week.
Ooh.
Probably Thursday.
You should tell it when you do it though, as if you don't know that it was me.
Okay, I will. I'll pretend I'm reading it for the first time.
Okay,
Perfect.
I like it.
I don't know what this. Let's see here.
What is this? All right, we're done. Thank you all for listening and being here. Boop show later today. We will also have what else is happening? I may play some of that Batman on stream because I don't know, weirdly enjoying that. Maybe some WoW. I don't know. I will have some time for a game stream at some point. So maybe keep your eye on the Twitter and that sort of stuff. What else is Mondays about? Mondays have anything else we have to worry about?
ANTP, but they've already gotten the episode that they're going to get. You and I record a separate episode that they didn't get for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you guys are a couple of weeks away from whatever the dire final
fresh
decision
hell is that today brings.
Yep. Oh, and today's Rosh Hashanah. Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Happy
to
Rosh
everyone.
Hashanah.
Is that a Jewish thing? I feel like I don't know.
It is a Jewish thing, yes. Take it from the 1/16th of me that is Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, that's right.
I don't know what it is.
We never talk about that. That's right. Brian's 1/16th Jewish, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be pro-Trump, I guess.
It's a New Year. It's a Jewish New Year.
He likes Trump says
we're all going to get drunk on Manischewitz.
Trump likes the Jews a lot. He says he does. So I wonder if you, even though I don't think he does, but he says he does. I wonder if 1/16th is enough to be liked by him. If he would like you.
Oh yeah, would he like 1/16th of me?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or would he hate 1/16th of my wife because she's 1/16th African American? These are the questions that keep me up at night. All right, hey, there you go, guys. That's it for the show. Brian's now going to introduce another song. The unveiling happens now. Can't wait to hear it, Brian. What do you got?
That's right. Yes, Michael Miller wrote in and said, Scott and Brian, I'm going to keep this short. We need to get some Hailstorm Lizzie Hale all up in here. So many fantastic covers. I can't choose. You pick it. Any day works for me. Go, says Michael Miller.
Wow.
Well, Michael, I've played a lot of songs by Hailstorm on this show. They have a few really good covers, or at least 1 or 2 really good cover albums. And of course, lots of great music that isn't covers. Let's do something that you probably weren't expecting. I'm going to play a song by an artist that is not Hailstorm. However, it does feature Lizzie Hale on vocals and features Lizzie Hale doing arguably the most famous vocals from this song. Song is Gimme Shelter, originally done by the Rolling Stones, but there is that and I can't remember who the woman is who did the original vocals for the Rolling Stone version, but just a killer voice. Lizzie Hale takes that mantle and does it incredibly well. This is from the Stone Sour album Straight Out of Burbank, which came out in 2015. Features Lizzie Hale on vocals. Here it is, Gimme Shelter.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Oh, there's Benjamin Whitemoon.
I love that turtle.
I know, the turtle-gasm.
Ooh,
another turtle made it to the water. Yeah. That's fantastic. All right, let me get in here and get the post-pre thing happening. Okay, we're back, everybody. The patrons who sat there going, man, can't wait for more of this bonus content, because here it is.
Yeah.